this was interesting. We'll just talk about it now. We're going out of order this week, but that's okay. Jason David Frank, who played the Green Ranger, who's the most famous Power Ranger. He was involved even 6-7 years ago. He was on I think the Dino Thunder series. They brought him back as a character.
He's either appeared in or played a major role in like 5 of the series.
But that was the last one he did. He went away. He was in like the first 3 or 4. Went away. Came back as like the elder statesman when he was only like in his early to mid 30s. You know what I mean? I think Dino Thunder. He comes back. He's an older character, and then he goes away. He was in this. Online there was like this crossover series that do like Batman versus like Predator, or Deadpool versus Batman. They actually did one Green Ranger versus Ryu. I think it's Bat in the Sun is the YouTube channel, and actually Saban gave their sign off on it, so he appeared as the Green Ranger fighting Ryu and kills him. Spoilers. So he's Jason David Frank goes to all these conventions. He's still the fans still love him because he always reaches out to the fans. He's the guy he's the most famous Power Ranger. Well, he's the ambassador.
I love the fact that he's not embarrassed about it. No, he embraces it. He loves the fact that he was the Green Ranger. He actually. It was recent. It was maybe a year ago. He jokingly talked about how he would actually, after a run-in with Stan Lee, how he would actually be interested in pitching a Green Ranger movie. I mean, he loves the character.
And, it's good. It's not one of those guys that wants to get away with it. He never did. I mean, he was only, what was he, like?
19.
He was 19.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember. I mean, the guy I played Jason with, I think he was 17. He was a little bit younger at the time. But yeah, we're talking more than half his life is being a Power Ranger. Yeah. And he still looks good. He's 41 now. He's still in shape. He owns at least one martial arts school, if not multiple ones.
Have you seen like his list of accomplishments in the world of martial arts?
For tournaments and things?
It's like this long.
Well, I'm sure, because when they got him in the show, people maybe they forget him and the guy who played Jason were legit martial artists.
Austin St. John.
Yes, Austin St. John, legit martial artists, even that young. They're the only guys out of the whole show. I mean, you had Zach who was athletic, but these 2 guys were really martial artists.
Yeah,
and so they even supposedly at the time had a competition between each other who was tougher, who was better martial artists. Anyway, so. I guess for the past, it's been like 2 years where it started out friendly, where he said he always wanted to fight CM Punk. And it started out sort of friendly, saying that they always would see each other like Wizard World, other conventions, and they knew each other. They would talk to each other. There's pictures of them together hanging out. And CM Punk, I believe, was now 36. So he potentially would have seen Power Rangers. He was in the age where maybe he watched it, at least he knew about it. It was a phenomenon, Power Rangers.
Yeah.
He was probably 14 when it came out, and he knew about this show. It was huge. The first 2-3 years was absolutely insanely huge. It had 2 movies, for God's sakes, that came out in theaters. So I guess they would go back and forth on Twitter, or at least Tommy, we'll call him Jason David Frank, JDF would lightly call him that. And when you're a fighter, and he is Jason David Frank, a fighter. He's fought 5 times, one's professionally, 4 amateur fights. He's mixed martial arts. He's won them all.
Yep.
He always thought this is something that potentially could be fun. So I guess recently at an event, though, someone asked CM Punk, what do you think about it? And CM Punk just sort of slagged him off, as if he said he didn't know him. He joked about, he was a Power Ranger. Well, what color was he again? And just really diminished Jason David Frank. Kind of surprisingly, kind of a dickish move to do that.
Well, that's not really surprising coming from CM Punk. I'm sorry.
But yeah, here's what I'm going to get at, though. My stock on CM Punk has really fallen since he got fired, quit whatever WWE. He's
always been a dick.
This is okay. I'm going to break it down like this: is that if you're a fighter now, you always have people calling you out, whether or not before. But to say he called Jason David Frank kind of a stalker, which is really kind of weird because, like I said, fighters call each other out all the time on Twitter.
Do you know how this started directly with the UFC? Was Dana White said that he needed to find a fighter with a similar record, or a record that would be fair enough to put him up against. And Jason David Frank, I mean, probably with no malice, was like,
"It's me. I'm 1-0.
Let's go.
I'm an older guy. CM Punk's older. Why not?
Let's fucking do it."
You know what? I've seen very reputable MMA sites like BloodyElbow.com say, you know what? It does make sense for them to fight. Yeah. It's not on the surface. It looks like a circus show, but it's not.
If CM Punk is going to show that he has any future in MMA, fighting a guy and winning against a guy who's won 4 amateur fights and 1 pro fight would be a good step up for him. Yeah.
But who does outweigh CM Punk, I think, though, by 20, 25, 30 pounds that I saw, though. But whatever, they could work out the details, catch weight, whatever.
Yeah.
But what really disappointed me about CM Punk during this whole slagging of JDF was basically diminishing him as just some TV martial arts guy. When you're a fucking pro wrestler and you hear that from mainstream people all the time, slagging off pro wrestlers as being dirt, and you have the fucking balls to say that about a martial artist just because he was on TV,
a decorated martial artist
on a children's show, when people say, well, you're on the lowest form of entertainment and you're slagging off a guy because he played a Power Ranger.
Yeah,
that to me made absolutely no goddamn sense.
No, I mean, exactly, and that was my take
very,
on it too.
Very disgraceful, I would say.
Yeah. So yes, CM Punk, you're athletic, but and I love pro wrestling, but you have been doing fake fighting your whole life. This guy has won multiple competitions as a martial artist, is decorated, is known as a good fighter, and has, even though it's a small record, has a record of victories to back him up.
Has way more mixed martial arts experience than you do.
Even if it's 5,
has way more fight experience than you.
Yeah.
So that to me was just really a low blow. Hey, if you don't want to fight him for whatever reason, that's fine. You're trying to legitimize yourself, and you think for some reason, again, you're getting an opportunity only because you were a pro wrestler, by the way. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just some guy in the street that I have the same shot of getting a contract as him if he wasn't a pro wrestler. Anyway, you just go off the street, and then you're somehow diminishing a guy because you're basically looking down on something when you're being looked down on your whole life for what you do. That to me just blew my fucking mind. It just blew my mind. I'm very disappointed. And you know what? You better win your first fight, because if you don't, Dana White's going to see the writing on the wall and say, wow, this was
a bad idea.
So not only is it a bad idea because we thought we'd get exposure, but now we've sort of diminished all the other fighters and diminished a guy like JDF who has way more entitlement to a UFC contract than someone like CM Punk.
Yep.
And someone that, you know what, I'd be fearful of Jason David Frank if I was CM Punk. I would be so fucking fearful, Green Ranger or not. He looks like a fucking badass.
As soon as he pulls out that little knife and plays that tune, I'd turn and fucking run. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see that, and I'd love to see Jason David Frank kick the shit out of Punk.
And you know what? The UFC's this is a whole side conversation. The UFC is right now in a sort of weird growing pains middle age when you have fighters left and right getting caught for PED use. Mm-hmm. When you have the pound for pound most dangerous man on the planet, John Jones, go out of his fucking mind, do a hit and run, high on coke. The guy's a head case, and now you have to strip him of the title because he's making your entire organization look bad. When you have no marketable stars anymore, your biggest marketable star is, believe it or not, Ronda Rousey. The female fighter is your biggest star.
Which is fine. She's great.
It's fine. However, she can't support the entire organization herself.
Right.
So this is what you're going through right now, is really bad times. So you know what? If this CM Punk thing doesn't pan out, that's another hit against your reputation.
And it's not going to pan out.
It potentially can't. Whenever it has in the past, whenever they've done these sort of fights, things with Kimbo Slice in the past and didn't work out, he was not fit for that. They did that.
He was a backyard street fighter.
They did that boxer against Randy Couture was a disaster. That fight, that was a circus freak show. And now you have CM Punk, and you know what? If he didn't have the name in the background of Green Ranger, he legitimately, compared to CM Punk, could have a contract. You know, I think it's unfortunately a hit against him, probably to someone like Dana White. But I would pay in a heartbeat. I might pay $45 myself just to see the fight.
Can we get a Kickstarter going? How much money do we have to give Dana White to get Jason David Frank in the ring against CM Punk?
And JDF even said, I'll fight for free, and he totally meant
really?
it.
Okay, said, I did not see that.
I think this really set him off because he sees himself, and I totally believe him, as not only slagging off him, but slagging off all the fans of Power Rangers, and I think that bothers him now.
Sure.